Hello, it's just Blair from the Dream Journey. So, I had another weird dream last night. Well, another dream. I'm not sure how weird it was. And this one, I have a bunch of symbols. No, not symbols. But it may have symbols that that you would really think stand out to you. But I do have an action, emotion, setting, possible interpretation, and even title. So, if you would like those things in your dream, then to be in a dream, like you'd like to use all of those facets to have your how to dream interpret, then you would be happy with my methodicalness. Anyhow, so I dreamt that I was in this old house that we have at a place called Peterkins, and that house, like I have these dreams quite often that, like, the porch is in real life, it's not a bad size, and it has our wood stove right in it, which sucks. But well, we don't live there anymore, but it did suck. And anyhow, so I have this dream, I think just since moving away from there, but I'm not entirely sure if it's been before. I dream that the porch is like hexagonal and it's bigger and there's no wood stove, and it usually has a latch door in the front, like to go outside, and I don't know, it's really cool. Anyhow, so I dreamt we were in our old house and there was this porch that I recall walking into, but also my husband John was in this dream with me, and he said to me that I guess I should start that sentence over. I was looking we have a garbage pit, and I was looking to put some garbage in my garbage pit. And so outside of our house, even though it was our old house, the yard looked different-ish. It actually looked like this old farm that I had when I was a kid. And like there's corrals and stuff, and everything looked like this old house that we had, this old farm we had. So I said, John, I want to throw some stuff into the pit. And somehow I knew that our yard looked like the old farm. So John and I went outside, and he said, we were in a vehicle, I think, and we drove down to the pit. And I said, I want to throw stuff into the other pit. The pit was far away. And he said, oh, you can't, because I covered in that pit. And I was like, why would you do that? And I said, it wasn't even full. And he's like, no, I covered it over. Stop asking. It's just fine. It's like, okay. And my thought was like, that doesn't even make any sense. Like, you're just ridiculous. So he said, yeah, I have this new pit that I dug, and it's down by the corrals by our place. And so throw your garbage in there. And that was kind of the end of it, of the dream. So my emotion was kind of miffed. Like, it wasn't really mad and it wasn't disturbed exactly, but I was kind of miffed. Like, this makes no sense, and I kind of thought it was dumb. And my action was balking at what somebody else was doing and making it pretty clear that I thought they were stupid, or what they were doing was stupid. And the setting was that yesterday I was looking for an extension cord, and the house that we live in, on the outside, there's a plug-in to plug in vehicles or whatever. And this extension cord we only have one that reaches from the house to our vehicle. And I was like, well, I have to plug in my Jeep, because it was like it was really cold yesterday. It was like really, really cold. So John had his truck plugged in, and then he left, but before he left, he plugged in his semi, but I had to go to work, so I had to plug in my Jeep, and I thought, I'm going to plug in my Jeep with a cord to that same outlet on the side of the house. And John has told me before, you can't do that because it will blow the breaker. But I thought, well, he kind of doesn't know what he's saying. He's just guessing, because I don't think he's ever tried. And so anyway, so I went to look for an extension cord. And also I thought, because he kept telling me, we don't have to plug in two vehicles at the same time. And I was like, why are you just dismissing me? I was always kind of angry about that topic coming up. And I went to find yesterday. I went to find an extension cord, and I found one, and it was in the shed where I keep things, and I put nails up on the walls of the shed so that I can hang stuff up, and I wouldn't say it's super neat, but it kind of is, and everything's out of the elements all the time. And so I went to that shed, and it was in the wrong place, but I found an extension cord that I hadn't put there, that John had put there, or someone else had put there. And either way, I used that extension cord. I plugged it into my Jeep, but it didn't reach to the house. And I was like, ooh, well, what do I do? So I was like, I gotta find another extension cord. So I went to the shop, not the shed, the shop. And I was gonna walk into the shop, but I had this feeling, look over to the right. So I did, and there was this oil barrel there. And on top of the oil barrel, I could see this cord, this blue cord. It looked like an extension cord, or it was an extension cord, I should say, sticking, hanging off the top of the barrel. And I couldn't even see if the extension cord, if the outlets on the extension cord, or whatever they're called, things that go in the outlets, the plugs, if they were even working, because sometimes on farms, as you might not know, people they wreck those, or sometimes even cut them off the ends. So anyway, I dug through the snow. I pulled the part of the extension cord that was sticking out. I dug through the snow, and I saw, oh yes, that extension cord has ends on it, has plugs, so good. So I brought it back to the house, but it was frozen because it had been in the snow, and I couldn't use it. So I brought it in the house to thaw out. While that was happening, my daughter and I went to play on the snow hill, and on the snow hill we can see our well. And I could see that there was an extension cord that had plugged something, I'm not even sure what, it looks like a meter or something, into the well. And I was like, okay, well obviously I can't take that or else our well will stop working. But I saw that 2 other extension cords were hung up around the same place as that extension cord, and they were not plugged into anything. And I went to pull them out of the snow, but they're frozen in, and I couldn't get them out. So I was like, well, that would be very convenient to use, but I have to wait till the spring. So I went and I told my son and my husband, I said, this is ridiculous, you don't take care of anything. And I was like, I'm not a neat freak, but still I take care of things decently well. And I was like, and you can't find anything, you just throw it wherever. I was like, I'm mad at you. And so from now on, I'm taking the extension cords once they thaw out, and you aren't having them anymore. And I'm putting up hooks, and I'm taking care of them, and they're mine. And if you take them, I'll do something. And so I was judging my husband, and he said, well, there's a reason, that because I told you can't plug 2 in at the same time. And I said, there's an outlet on the other side of the house. And I was like, so instead of trying to see if I could plug in cords to that outlet, I was like, you just dismissed me. And I was mad. And so my setting was actually kind of the same as what I was doing in my dream, which was judging, being mad, not listening to his side of the story. And while I am somewhat right, I was somewhat wrong, especially the way I went about it. And the title for the stream is like, what are you doing? I disagree with you, and basically all things that are like that. So I interpreted my dream to mean kind of like, lay off your husband a little bit and maybe talk things over a little better, but don't be so demanding, because see, I can't change. My dreams aren't about somebody else, what they should do. My dreams are about what I should do. And guess what? God was the one telling me. I know that anybody could have a dream, but God was telling me, if you want to maintain the peace and the love in your relationship, this is how to do it. And it was a gift from God. So I don't disbelieve at all that God was the one that gave me that dream. But if you believe that there's a different interpretation, or slightly different, or more to add, then please share with me. So I would love it if you would click on the bell notification so you get all of my posts, and if you would subscribe, because all channels need subscribers. So please do that. And anyway, talk to you later.